The difficulty that most people face in their efforts to realize God is the distraction of mind. You meditate 1/2 hour, 1 hour each day, and the other hours of the day your mind is engaged in so many different activities and involvements that this world of form and separation that revolves around your identity with body, mind, and ego seems to be the dominant reality. It occupies you day and night, except for those few hours you may concentrate in meditation and reach a state of where the mind is quiet and peace abides, bliss abides. But after a little time, mind wanders again back to its concerns, your concerns for your body, mind, ego identity. And the rest of the day, you are engaged in activities in the world. So, what to do? The yogis say that Purusha, infinite consciousness, is the reality, and that this world of forms is Maya, holds only a relative reality. Some say not reality at all, it is just like a dream. But others say no, it holds a relative reality. And that is the relative reality you are engaged in. Through your senses, you experience the world around you, the people you love, the tasks you are engaged in doing, the goals and interests of your life, your work. All of that becomes your stable base, your solid reality that promotes your existence. But the problem is, at some point, your body will cease to be a proper vehicle. The senses will no longer work. The body will cease to be alive. And then what happens? There are no senses, there is no body. And so your identity of your being, your awareness, your consciousness with your physical form ceases. And you are forced to move into the realms where you sleep and you rest and your mind plays out. You can live in the deep sleep or in the other realms. But regardless of your wakefulness, you will return for your fulfillment of your strongest desires. So, life with identity with the body and the daily activities goes on. But the yogis say, out of this struggle for survival and this aversion to anything that may hinder your struggle for survival or the achievement of your goals, there is a way out. because the fundamental experience of grasping for what you need and fearing what you lose is an experience of suffering. Sometimes you're winning, it looks good, but other times things go badly and you feel the pain. But the very condition, whether you are winning or losing, is suffering. Your consciousness, your being endures the struggle, the pain. And the cause of that suffering, the yogis say, is identity with the unreal, with the I feeling, with the body, mind, and senses. Conscious awareness becomes identified with vehicle, and thus the condition of grasping and fearing, desire and loss comes into existence. Pulling you towards that which you want and away from that which might harm your desires. That struggle is a bondage. It keeps you in a condition of pain, in a struggle for personal desire fulfillment that ultimately you will fail to achieve. The yogis who looked into the mind and sat in deep contemplation and meditation realized there is a way out of this. That way entails bringing your awareness out of identity with your material existence and into identity with your deeper being, with the consciousness which is you, with the Atman. And when attention is there, then like the drop of water dropped into the sea, the Atman is no different from the Paramatma. You are in the unitary wholeness of all being. And there all desire falls away. All desire is fulfilled in that which is infinite love, infinite grace, deep truth, which is the home from which you have come to wander in the world of form. There fulfillment lies. But when the day is spent engaging in the desires of the mind and the senses, this is what you know. This is what your being, what your consciousness experiences. Day in, day out. Then sometimes something terrible happens in someone's life and then they go, "Oh Lord, Lord, please help me." And they want to be close to the God and have the divine intervention. But when things are going good, they have forgotten the God. To solve this dilemma of human life, that is immersed in suffering, to solve the dilemma of your life. You do meditation, you ideate upon the great. But when you meditate 1/2 hour, 1 hour, even 2 hours a day, the rest of the day is filled with your desires. So what to do? In Tantra, they say that a yogi can be also a bhogi, love life, a lover of life, and yet a yogi. But the key to this approach is one of expanding love, is one of seeing the divinity in all and everything, rather than the individual existence. So there comes a point where you will need to take your sadhana, your ideation upon the great, out of your meditation and into the other 23 hours of your day. This is done by recognizing that everyone and everything is but an image placed upon the reality of the infinite divine beloved. And that when you have those who are near and dear to you, that truly you become attached to, recognizing that that attachment is to your divine beloved, whom you see more clearly in them, perhaps than in others, due to your samskaras. You have an intimacy that makes you closer to their true nature, to the divine, eternal one. For it is the divine, eternal one embodied in all beings. And in those you love the most, you have broken through the outer shell to see that divine one more clearly. But you have identified that divine one in the name and form of the one to whom you are attached. So if that name and form goes away, you grieve greatly and you feel, I have lost my loved one. Or if it is a work or that a mission in your life, if it should go away, you become unable to do it. I lost my purpose, I lost my mission. But what you loved in any form is the God itself, is the one beloved, is the self of yourself. That you have see more clearly in some than in others because of the ties of the heart. But mistakenly, you assume that what you love is the form. And so there is the pain of attachment, and should the form fade from your life, of loss. But when you begin to take your spiritual ideation out of your sadhana and into the rest of your life, practicing the tantric approach, not to reject the world as unreal, but to see the reality in what is. That is the difference. Tantra practices to see the reality in what is, to love fully, completely, rather than to try to shut love down and have detachment. It is to expand love so that attachment becomes dissolved in the strength of love and in perception of reality. For that true perception of reality is what makes a difference. Knowing that what you love, all that you love, is not form, but substance. And substance is eternal, immortal. As your being is eternal and immortal, though your form is transitory. It is a form you have taken for a time and will discard. But you remain eternal. When you begin to see the accumulated experience of your being and all the current experience of your being as experiences of the one truth in form, then the attachment you have becomes to the Divine One, to Paramapurusha, not to form. So Tantra says, be in the world, but not of the world. Don't reject life. Don't reject the vitality of love, but transmute your attachment from attachment to form to attachment to essence. Love your true beloved in all the forms that you hold dear, in the forms of loved ones, in the forms of passion for work or mission, in all the forms dear to your heart. Hold that beloved. When you cultivate this 24 hours a day, continually ideating, all is Brahma, all is Brahma, all is the one beloved, all is made of that, then desire for form becomes transmuted to desire for the one truth, for immortal being. And then slowly, slowly you begin to see the God everywhere. And this mundane life becomes sublime. This world is not something to be rejected, denied. You live in a physical form. Your consciousness is in that form. Rather than practicing austerities and whipping yourself for any desires for happiness and pleasure in the life, Isn't it better to see the beloved God Self everywhere, in everyone, in everything that is, the dance, the play, the lila within the divine being? But don't forget, cultivate this every moment of your life. That is why the practice of Guru Mantra is given. But whether you practice the Guru Mantra or not, practice the ideation, practice the understanding. Always remember, everything is the one eternal self. Everything is the infinite Brahma. There is no other being. Then, when you truly know this, the song of the bird are the words of the Guru. The rustling of the wind in the trees is the word of the Guru. The wisdom of truth comes out of the minds of all around you. For their deepest being is, in fact, that eternal self. They are, everything that they are is that eternal being. Even the ones who create darkness, they have lost their way, but their nature, deep inside, is still eternal being. When you walk in the world, but not of it, when you walk in the presence of the divine, with eyes open as well as eyes closed, then the realization comes. You begin to truly know God. For God does not lie in some high holy heaven far away on some golden seat. God is with you every day, every moment of your life. In your children, in your parents, in your spouses, in your friends, even in the strangers, even in those who do harm. It is the God who abides, the one eternal beloved is the substance of all form. It is a play within the consciousness of the infinite one that makes this world. If you cultivate this one practice to not only seek God in the inner quietude of the mind, but to seek God in every experience of your life, to know God, to know the infinite beloved in every breath you take, the air itself, everything around you is the beloved. Pleasure and pain are both forms of the beloved. Acquisition and loss are both forms of the beloved. When you establish yourself in knowledge of the beloved, those outer things of acquisition or loss become less and less significant, for you see the true nature of what is. Then there is nothing to lose and nothing to gain. For the beloved always is. Cultivate this practice. It is the key to realizing God. All right? Namaskar. Do you have any questions?